Now, before we meet the skaters, let's say hi to all the officials, the referees, and the non-skating officials who may or may not take a lap. Hi, guys. Just wave, referees. Just wave. Head ref, why don't you run in there?
All right.
Is it,
All right, they skate without hands. They march without fear. And they're the prettiest team in the East. Please welcome the nationally ranked Boston Massacre.
Yes.
And skating for the Massacre tonight, number 101, Anorexia. Number 21 plus, Anita Panger. Number 77, Bumpus. Number 1984, Claire T. Way. Number B52, Etta Maines. 011, Lois Carmen Dominator. Number 1987, Shark Week. Number 1001, Sugar Hits. And the Massacre coaches, number 451 degrees, Lil Payne. And number 603, Lady Shatterly. And the Massacre captains, number 24, Quicksandy. And number 27, Ivana Shankovich. And please welcome their managers, Mona Moore and Senior Macho Solo. Show your love for the Boston Massacre.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, here they are, your Rose City Rollers, Wheels of Justice! Number 100, Mercy! Number 20, Sulfuric Acid! Number 210, Heidi Goes Seek! Number 23, Wreck Deckard! Number 357, Rhea Derange. 444, Moby-One Kenobi. Number 50, Scald Eagle. Ah! Number 53, Mick Swagger. Number 8, Sully Skull Kicker. Number 81, Havana Good Time. Number 82, Hurricanes Katrina. And your co-captains, number 243, Scratcher in the Eye. Number 93, J.K. Rowling. And number V.A. Cadillac. On the bench, Mullet Bullet and Rob Lobster. Ladies and gentlemen, the Wheels of Justice!
All right, well, this is Dragon Lady, joined by Spider.
True story. Here we are. We're going to talk about the Boston Massacre taking on Rose City Rollers.
And this is a grudge
We're doing a little bit of adjustment to the sound.
Well, and this is like a grudge match from East Coast Extravaganza from last year. These two teams matched up.
Does look like it's going to be sulfuric acid for the Rose City Rollers.
Sorry, we're having a little technical issues here.
And I think that's cleared away, although I can't see the number.
Well, and if it is, it's a very interesting matchup because both these skaters made it onto Team USA for the Blood and Thunder.
All right, that is cleared away. Taking a hit at turn one, falling to the floor as sulfuric acid pulls out in front, taking lead jammer position for the Rose City Rollers.
Cleared away, hot on her heels there. It looks like our two jam refs for the night are Mr. Rock and Hanging Chad, both Rat City officials.
Looks like sulfuric acid picks up 2 points, putting them on the scoreboard. They will be the solitary scorers here as Boston Massacre with no points put up on the scoreboard.
And she quickly called off the...
We are experiencing some technical difficulties, so please just hang in there with us while we work it out. There's the first whistle and second whistle
We're
goes.
having some audio issues here. I think we're going to switch you back to the live feed until we get them sorted out.
There's Scully, Skull Kicker.
Looks like
She is lapped by the Rose City Jammer. That will be an extra point.
she makes it out of the pack there. Scald Eagle going to the penalty box for a major low block. You cannot hit other skaters below the thigh. That is a low block call. Looks like Sully Skull Kicker calls it off for 4. Magic Pony Power Hour.
Rockstar Energy Drink. Rockstar, the official sports energy drink of your Rose City Rollers.
Quick point.
Out on the jammer line right now, we've got sulfuric acid for the Wheels of Justice.
And 1001 for Boston in white. Sugar hits.
Check, check.
We've got only 2 for the Wheels of Justice. A big advantage here for the Massacre.
All right, I think we're back.
All right, so. All right.
Are we on?
Does look like the Boston Massacre with 4 points on the scoreboard, up to the Wheels of Justice for 6.
Well, and obviously I think this is very indicative of what kind of a night we're going to have with only 2 points separating these teams a few minutes in, and it's just, I feel like it's going to be a back and forth all night.
Yeah, so Rose City actually picking up lead jammer twice to Boston Massacre's 1 lead jammer. Again, Rose City sitting at 4th in the West, Boston Massacre at 6th in the East.
Well, and Rose City's definitely starting out at a disadvantage with having a full box, but now it has completely emptied out. More key is Aspen is back on the track and getting swiped off her feet there by number 27. Sharp.
Hard hit by Carmen Dominator for the Boston Massacre on the jammer for Rose City. Rose City gets through, does not pick up lead jammer status as she got a miter cut.
Well, and Boston's jammer, Claire, is out of the box as well, as she only had to serve the same amount of time that Acid was in there, to be fair.
Looks like Rose City really preferring the back of the pack, forming that four wall at the back. They're trying to shut down Claire DeWay, being really successful.
And Boston focusing on the front, and finally LCD getting the hand in the air that she was out of play, and Acid picks up 5 points for the Wheels of Justice.
That's right, as Anorexia finally gets through the pack. Again, not lead jammer. Looks like LCD trying to knock out number 20 from Rose City Rollers on turn 1. She gets taken out by a skater for Rose City Rollers, number 82, Hurricanes Katrina.
This is a very spread out pack.
Claire
It's fast, and it is completely chaotic. I don't know if it's the fact that it is so darn warm in here, or everyone's just excited for this event weekend, as this is the first bout of 4 for here at the hangar at Oaks Amusement Park.
Check, check. I can hear. All right, so Claire DeWay picking up 4 points, although sulfuric acid also picking up another 4 points for the Wheels of Justice.
And of course, since both jammers went to the penalty box, we were going to go the full 2 minutes here. We're still juggling some audio issues, so if we sound a little sporadic.
It's true, we're sporadic, because I can't hear a word Dragon Lady's saying right now.
Stop shutting me out. I love you, Spider. All right, next jam up, we've got Sully Skullkicker for Wheels of Justice. And number 1 for Boston Massacre.
Actually, I think that's Sugar Hits. It is Sugar Hits. She pushed through on the inside line, picks up lead jammer status for the Boston Massacre.
That taking the knee at the beginning of the jam by Wheels was not very advantageous for their jammer, but Sully is out of the pack now.
Looks like Sugar Hits keeping a close eye on the jammer from Rose City. She engages the back of the pack. Rose City's jammer actually gets through and picks up some points, I think, before Sugar Hits could shut her down.
Well, and she just got her feet swept off from underneath her there at turn 4. And I want to give a big shout out to Rockstar Energy Drink, which is what powers all of Portland and its roller girls here. And we've got an official timeout being called. Our head ref for the night is Wench Warden.
So Wheels of Justice really making an impression, pulling that lead to 20 of their points to the Boston Massacre, sitting at 8. We're only 7 minutes in or so, and it's going to be a hard-fought battle here for both teams, I believe.
Well, and last summer at East Coast Derby Extravaganza in Philadelphia, these two teams matched up, and Boston, at halftime, Boston was in the lead, and Rose City ended up sneaking in, winning the game by, I believe, 20, 30 points, and it was a monumental win for Rose City, a very big moral victory, because they are traditionally not known as ever bringing it back in the second quarter. So that was a very huge growth moment for that team. And it'll be very interesting to see. Like I said, I expect the score to completely fluctuate all night long. And not only that, I mean, we've got this matchup tomorrow night, the sanction bout. It's a doubleheader. Rat City All-Stars are taking on Boston, and I think it's going to be very similar.
Yeah, again, so Rat City sitting at 6th in the West to Boston Massacre 6th in the East region. So tomorrow bound to be a really good matchup as well, just like Dragon Lady said.
Well, and it's, these last few games, I know there's some big events going on this weekend, but, the Big Five are coming up, especially talking about rankings. Rose City is 4th in the West to your hometown, number 1.
That's true. The Ole Rollers going into Western Regional sitting at the number 1 seed.
And they're all coming to Portland September 23rd through 25th.
I'm getting here the 22nd. I'm all about Portland a day early.
I probably will be here a day early, too.
I'd almost guarantee it.
We've got the action back on with Acid jamming for the Wheels of Justice.
And that's Claire DeWay skating as a jammer for the Boston Massacre.
We're getting some clockwise blocking minors being assigned to this standstill pack. But Acid is out of the pack and is lead jammer for the Wheels of Justice.
Claire DeWay getting caught up in the massive pack of 4 purple skaters taking her on. Looks like Claire DeWay going to get some assistance there.
It looks like Mobi-Wan Kenobi there is holding her out of bounds, and her teammate just swoops in and clears Mo out of the way.
Yeah, I think that was Etta Mames, B52.
Oh. But unfortunately, no one realized Acid was back around for her first scoring pass and picked up an easy 5 points.
Yeah, the pack was super focused on how to shut down Claire DeWay or help her through the pack while she's trying to get through. Sulfuric Acid just pulls right through there, picking up a grand slam.
Boston having an impressive, tough last line of defense. Unfortunately, the pivot pushed it a little too far. That's Anna, and she is going out for an out-of-play major.
That's right, a major back-blocking penalty for anorexia, so she's going to spend a minute in the box as Sulfuric Acid pulls through for another grand slam for the Wheels of Justice.
A nice jump on the apex there. I think this is about the first jam we've seen where they've pretty much been at an absolute standstill with the pack action.
Yeah, really tight, cohesive pack. Sulfuric Acid again on the inside line, picking up another 5 points for the Wheels of Justice, bringing them to 45 to the Boston Massacre's 8 points. Claire DeWay just having a huge problem getting through the pack. And it looks like she's going to pick up a major cutting the track penalty, and she's headed to the penalty box. This is a power jam for Sulfuric. She's going to call it off, so they're going to start off unopposed from the jammer line.
Well, now it looks like there's some confusion about the jam being called off or not, but it looks like Scratcher is being sent off for a major. There's a lot of chaos going on here tonight. We don't normally have warm weather in Portland, and we usually get a little cranky when it does, even though by warm I mean it's like 85 degrees.
It's warm by Pacific Northwest standards, let me assure you, particularly this summer when it's been like 7 days of sunshine the entire year.
Right. Team timeout being called by Boston. Now, Wheels doing an excellent job of, it was like an inner wall. They were just forcing Boston out and just creating this huge chasm on the inside line, which allowed Acid to pretty much just breeze by, and that was, what, a 30-point jam?
It was a 30-point jam for her, and every time it looked like she just ran through right on the inside line to pick up all those points, again bringing them to a significant lead.
And usually you don't see a jam like that unless it's either a power jam situation or the box is full. So, you know, I know Boston just traveled here today. You usually got those first few minutes of the bout, you got to shake off the cobwebs. But, you know, they're taking a timeout right now, which is probably exactly what they're doing. Smart move.
It's also considerably later in Boston, sitting at 11 p.m. their time, so they're bound to be a little sleepy because I know my bedtime is 10.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, but, you know, we get the same problems when we go over to the East Coast and we're bouting at like 4 a.m. I'm like, I should be leaving the after party right now. What is going on?
It's all about torture, Dragon Lady, torture.
Well, we've got a great ref crew going on here tonight. We've got refs from a lot of different leagues coming in for this 3-day event, and you'll see a really nice collaborative Zebra entourage. Meanwhile, we've got some action going on again.
So Claire DeWay taking the jammer line yet again for the Boston Massacre. Can't take down Sully Skullkicker as she pulls through, picking up lead jammer status. That's right, it's Claire DeWay, still sitting in the penalty box from the last jam. I got all discombobulated with all of that official timeout stuff that happened.
And Sully being the only jammer out there, she is juking through that pack, but Boston doing a great job of focusing on the front there and pushing her out of bounds.
Yeah, nice job by Bumpus, number 77 from the Boston Massacre. Looks like Boston going to try to run a 4-wall up there at the front. Looks like Anna recycling to the front of the pack, staying on one skate, going on the inside line to get back up in front.
Well, Boston doing a great job of their pacing, so they're not going out too far. Rose City occasionally sending a blocker up to try to clear out Boston, but they're just not being very successful at it at this point.
That's right, so there's another grand slam, 5 points for Sully Skullkicker.
Wheels dominating the pace of the pack there once they had trapped one of the Boston blockers, but now we've got both jammers back on the track. We've got all 10 skaters on the track, Spider.
Holy smokes. Everybody take a drink of PBR.
Looks like Skatrina is being sent out for a major something.
And the cacophony of whistles that just went off echoes in this hangar like nobody's business, let me tell you.
Yeah. Which is nice with the fans when they get very excited that it just gets really intense in here. But I can't imagine how these skaters can think straight with all this going on.
Pack advantage here, actually going to the Boston Massacre, working with 4-on-3. Looks like Rose City is going to destroy the pack, initiating that immediate whistle from the jammer line, as Scald Eagle is the jammer for the Wheels of Justice, going up against Sugar Hits for the Boston Massacre.
Etta dropped back a little bit to help break out that purple wall, and it was successful enough to get Sugar Hits out as lead jammer for Boston.
So Sugar Hits going to try to maximize and take over right here and try to put some points on the scoreboard here for the Boston Massacre. But you know what? Scald Eagle is not very far behind her, so she's really going to push the issue. She gets around one skater, number 81, who is having a good time, and she calls up the Cham, getting 1 point, I believe.
Well, it looks like Boston lost a blocker for a hit to the head. Now, just a reminder, Wheels of Justice, the Portland All-Star team, is wearing the purple uniforms, and Boston Massacre are wearing the white uniforms with, like, the blue accents. So, for those of you who aren't completely ridiculously dialed in to these teams and follow their every movement.
First time at the line here for the Boston Massacre is Lil Payne. She's going to get some help out there from, looks like, Shark Week and LCD. LCD trying to get to the front.
Shark Week being sent out for a clockwise block there.
She actually picked up a minor forearm, did not pick up lead jammer status, although Boston Massacre is out on her non-scoring pass.
And Sully not lead jammer either for a no pass, no penalty.
That's right.
2 minutes.
That's right, the full 2 minutes. And there goes Lil Payne pulling through for 4 points to put on the board for Boston Massacre. However, there goes Rec Deckard picking up another 4 points. 0 point differential.
That's Sully. The scoreboard's actually wrong.
Oh,
yeah.
It is. You're right.
Technology is lying to you. We have a lot of technical issues going on today because we're actually experimenting with using Ringster. So there's a lot of variables up into the air tonight.
Lil Payne making it through on another scoring pass, picking up another 4 points for the Boston Massacre. But there goes Sully Skullkicker also picking up another 4 points.
They're just matching lap by lap here, pass for pass.
Kind of painful for the Boston Massacre as they are finally getting up there, scoring some points here. However, matched. Uh-oh.
Well, it looks like Payne was getting caught up by Hurricane Katrina there in the back of the pack. Looks like a switch of tactics as Wheels is in the front and Boston is in the back.
Yes, Rose City running a 3-wall up at the front. They're going to assist their jammer through. She pushes right through a little window created there by Rose City, scoring a grand slam. That's 5 points for the Wheels of Justice.
Ooh, huge hit from Mercy there, taking out Lil Payne at the apex of the track. And it looks like Cadillac is being sent out at the end of that jam for a major forearm.
All right, this brings the Wheels of Justice to 76 with the Boston Massacre sitting at 18. Looks like the defense there for the Wheels of Justice really worked out in those 2 last scoring passes, giving sort of free rein to Sully Skullkicker as she puts on 9 points.
Well, hey, and you know, if you want to know what else is going on in Portland, if you're from Portland and you're listening to us, check out Mike Thrasher Presents. They are the leading event and concert promoter. And back to the Derby.
The Derby.
Scald Eagle jamming for the Wheels of Justice. Going up against Claire.
That is Claire DeWay. She gets shoved out of the way by the 444. Moby Wan Kenobi gets knocked down as Scald Eagle picks up lead jammer status for the Wheels of Justice.
Some last line of defense there by Heidi Gosik.
Hanging Chad, the jam ref there for the Boston Massacre, turning around, seeing if she picked up lead, but she did not. But she is through the pack on her non-scoring pass.
And Scald gets pushed to the inside of the track there, calls it off after picking up 1 point. to protect Boston's point spread there.
Boston Massacre pulls up to 21 to the Wheels of Justice 77.
We're about halfway through this first period. And I want to give some much love to Blaze Streaming Media, who is providing you this viewing experience this evening. If you are tuning in, if you live in Portland and you're watching from home, I got to say, there are tickets still for the next 2 nights. So come out and see all the other bouts that are happening this weekend. The jam started, but the jammers aren't moving. So waiting for Wheels Wall to creep over the line there.
Going at a snail's pace there, the Wheels of Justice holding the back line, running that 3-wall. Oh, with a huge hit.
That's from Shark Week. That's, again, scratcher in the eye, the jammer for Wheels there.
Boston Massacre picking up lead jammer status. That's Sugar Hits, 1-0-0-1.
And it looks like Anna is being sent off for misconduct major. Scratcher actually hasn't been jamming a lot for the team this year, so it's interesting to see her wearing the star again in purple.
Sugar Hit's going to try to make it around Rhea Derange, and number 23, Rec Deckard at the front. She actually calls it off as she gets stuck behind them, but she does pick up 3 points for the Massacre.
Well, and if you are not watching this at home, you should head down to Kay's Bar if you live in Portland, because they're going to be streaming this in the bar as well. They are Selwood's Watering Hole, and they're a proud sponsor of the All-Star team, the Wheels of Justice. So if you don't want to watch it alone, go down to Kay's and buy a beer and watch some derby.
Or heck, you could just come here, because I believe there are still tickets left at the door.
That is true.
There's the second whistle as the jammers are released from the jammer line, cleared away, hitting the back of the pack as the jammer for Portland pulls through, does not pick up lead jammer status as she picked up a minor forearm penalty.
Yep, and that's solid. Both teams down a blocker in the penalty box right there. Woo,
Wow.
Nice hammer and nail by Mercy and Mobi-Wan Kenobi.
And then a huge hit by number 77, Bumpus. Yeah, but there goes Sully Skull Kicker picking up 5 points on the scoreboard for the Wheels of Justice.
Now Mobi-Wan Kenobi being sent off. Only 2 purple blockers on the track.
Claire
Cardano wiping out Claire, but also getting pushed out as well. Finally getting Claire out as lead jammer.
Yep, on her non-scoring pass, she does pick up lead jammer status, and she calls off the jam immediately as Sully Skull Kicker right in front of her. Wheels of Justice is 87 to Boston Massacre's 24 points. Boston Massacre is really going to need to look to turn this around, pick up some momentum.
I feel like just watching the expressions on these skaters' faces that Boston mentally isn't quite got their concentration 100% in front of them. I don't know if that's because they traveled today or it's the heat or...
There's Lil Payne. She's trying to get through. However, hard hit to the center of the track. She picks up lead jammer status as indicated by Hangin' Chad, the jam ref for the Boston Massacre.
Nice getting around Cadillac there. And Scald Eagle hot on her heels, almost taking the lead away from her.
That's right. She passes Lil Payne, and Lil Payne sees her go in front of her and immediately calls off the jam before the Wheels of Justice can pick up any points on that scoring pass.
Oh, we've got the crowd booing on that one.
Looks like Lady Shatterly, LCD, Etta Mames, all starting a no-pack situation, forcing that jam whistle to be called immediately after the whistle for the pack.
Well, we got a lot of clockwise minors being called here as the pack is, it's moving. It's a lot of lateral movement there. And they are big hits. I got to say, it may not be moving forward, but it certainly is not boring. And we got a tangle on the inside there at the apex.
as Mick Swagger actually knocking the jammer for Boston Massacre down to the floor. She hops right back to her skates. She gets through the pack, picks up lead jammer status. That's sugar hits for the Boston Massacre.
And that is a great position for Boston to be in. Power jam. All their blockers are out there. Unfortunately, Wheels only having one objective, and that is to slow her down. And they are set up in the front of the pack just to do so.
As Mercy just sticks to that positional blocking, she is fantastic at that, I just got to say.
She's actually a rookie onto the travel team this year. She's a transfer from Hawaii. Oh, and Scald is out of the box. And may I say she soared around the outside of the pack there. And
Rock actually doing some arm movements that are sort of indicative of an eagle, which I thought was kind of clever.
He's so cute.
I don't think that there are many people in the derby community that would disagree with you.
Oh.
I was thanking him earlier for making every weekend of every year possible for some derby league somewhere in the country or elsewhere.
One of the hardest working zebras in the country. And up on the Pabst Blue Ribbon jam line, sulfuric acid, and we're in a hard position where
that's cleared away.
Okay, we can't see we're positioned in front of the pack, so we can't if we don't see the numbers. We're going by facial recognition at the moment.
Oh, there's cleared away, picking up lead jammer status for the Boston Massacre.
Acid pushing her teammate out of the way to clear the pack as well.
And again, both these skaters going to be on Team USA for the Derby World Cup in December.
Exciting!
I'm so there.
Wow, and the pack is split up here. Purple in the front, white in the back, and the jammers just smash into them.
Yeah, Boston Massacre actually holding the back line as the jammer for Portland just went through. She found a way past Anita Banger and just went through on the inside line, pardon me.
Well, this is a scientific fact. You may not know this, Spider, but when sulfuric acid actually turns sideways, she disappears.
That's convenient. It's like an invisible cloak.
It is a handy attribute to have as a jammer. I mean,
now you see me, now you don't.
We've got an empty Rebel Jeweler penalty box for a change at the start of this jam, as
that'll be Little Pain. She doesn't even hit the back of the pack, and she gets called on a major low block, and so she's going to spend some time in the penalty box.
Oh, meanwhile, Scratcher in the eye, picking up lead jammer for Wheels of Justice.
Not what the Boston Massacre were looking for, given that now Portland, Rose City, has the only jammer on the track. They're going to be forced to allow her to go. Anita Banger, the last line of defense, working up there with number 77, Bumpus, to try to hold her off.
Boston doing a great job of bridging that gap for quite a while, but they finally hit that certain measurement and had to let her go. Scratcher almost threw the pack again on her first scoring pass.
She's getting hung up by number 77, Bumpus, and it looks like number 23, Rec Decker, trying to get in there and clear the way.
Huge whip there, sending her out.
It does look like we have a skater down. She's outside the lanes of play, though. She is dragging herself off the track
to her team bench there. And Wheels of Justice breaks the century mark.
Yeah, that's another grand slam for sulfuric acid.
It just looks like the skater twisted up a little bit, nothing too serious. She's just taking off her knee pad and rubbing her knee a little bit.
Thank you to all those volunteer EMTs who show up and really take care of the skaters should that need arise.
Yep, we certainly could not do it without them.
That's right. So Lil Payne now threw on her non-scoring pass. However, number 2,
Scratcher in the eye.
Scratcher in the eye. Sees her about to hit the back of the pack and calls off the jump very, strategically.
Oh, and that skater that left the track, she is now standing up. I don't know if she had like a muscle spasm, but she's kind of bouncing around on her skates to test everything out. And she looks pretty good. So that's always a great sight to see.
Wow, no skaters at the pivot line. They all backed up right on top of the jammer for Rose City.
An official timeout being called.
Looks like Anorexia working out there with Shark Week.
Which, might I say, one of the best names ever.
1987 Shark Week.
Unfortunately, her week was last week.
Oh,
Because, yes, I actually
Dragon
do.
Lady.
It was last week on the Discovery Channel. Come on.
I know.
Well, while we're at this timeout, take a moment to thank some of our great big sponsors, Ron Tonkin Chevrolet. Ron Tonkin Chevy, they beat any deal out there. And if you are not a Chevy person, they've got Fiats too. Style and fuel efficiency reign at the Ron Tonkin Fiat. We have the air compressor from the workshop next to us just activated.
Yeah, it kind of freaked me out because we're high up on a mezzanine, and I was like, oh, are we going down? But we weren't.
It's like we're riding the clothes washer right now. Meanwhile, we've got Acid out of the pack, lead jammer for Wheels of Justice.
As cleared away, clearing on a non-scoring pass. Not your lead jammer. Sulfuric Acid going to slip by or try to slip by number 21, Anita Banger.
Nice big hit there.
Cleared away, looking to get on the inside line. She picks up no points.
It recycled Acid to the back of the pack there. She called it off.
I'm not a ref, but I probably would have given her some points because it didn't seem clear to me that the fourth whistle had actually blown while Cleared Away was engaged in pack play.
Well, and that's because we're sitting on an air compressor right now.
It really is sort of bizarre. I feel like I'm riding a horse.
Well, I'd like to give you an interesting time when you come down here and to announce for a Spider.
It's my pleasure. I always have a good time when I head down to the lovely Portland, Oregon.
Much love to Oaks Amusement Park, our home of the Rose City Rollers here, and the hangar for which this event is taking place.
Looks like Etta Mames working with her league mates there at the front of the pack. They're going to try to hold the front line. Rose City just shutting down the jammer there for that sugar hits for the Boston Massacre.
Well, and it looks like Scratcher pulled her intentional fourth minor at the start of that jam and went to the box. Sugar Hit's doing a great job of finally dancing around one purple lady after another and finally breaks her initial pass there.
Last line of defense there for the Boston Massacre, trying to shut down Scald Eagle. They are unsuccessful. She scores 4 points and calls off the jam.
Well, we've got about 3 minutes left in this first period. Wheels of Justice sitting at 119 to Boston Massacre 32.
That's right, and keep in mind, tomorrow there is more derby to be had. I do believe that Rat City Roller Girls are taking on the Boston Massacre, and it will be online for your viewing pleasure.
Well, and if you tune in at 6, the Portland Junior All-Star team, the Axes of Annihilation, are taking on Rat City's Junior All-Star team, the Reign of Terror. So it's a very big night of Seattle tomorrow.
And the shaking finally stopped.
Well, we've got only 5 blockers out there to Boston's advantage, having 3 of them.
Lil Payne finding a window there really easily, making it through, picking up lead jammer status on behalf of the Boston Massacre.
Havana being sent off and sent back out on the track as Rose City's blockers box is full.
Boston doing a huge job of shutting it down the jammer. That's Lady Shatterly, LCD, and Shark Week working the front line, forming that wall of 3.
They are just pushing her to the inside there. And
all right, so Scald Eagle through on her non-scoring pass as Lil Payne sees her go through and calls off the jam as she pulls out in front of her.
That was sulfuric acid. Now, I know like Wheels of Justice only having their numbers on their jerseys without the names. I think it is to intentionally make them look like one person so you can't zero in on one player or another.
I don't know. I know a team that does something very similar.
Ah, it ain't half bad. Jamming for the first time tonight, Hurricanes Katrina I think it's the first time she's jammed for Wheels since she's come back onto the All-Star team for Portland.
No stranger to the jammer line for the Boston Massacre. Cleared away, taking a hard spill there on turn 2.
And rearranged the pivot for Wheels, dropping back and keeping her eyes on her. But it was a swing and a miss, and now Claire getting a huge whip by Man. And she's out of the pack.
That's right, cleared away, threw on her non-scoring pass. But again, Rose City Rollers holding that line with Hurricane Katrina. Jeez Louise. You'd think I had a speech impediment. I need to see myself. This is really scary.
Katrina back in the pack for her first scoring pass, getting a no pass, no penalty there from one of the blockers from Boston.
Period 1 with 16 seconds left on the period clock with the jam clock sitting at 1 minute.
I think Katrina forgot that she was jamming and went into blocking mode there.
That's right, so 3 points for Hurricane Katrina. She passed someone.
Yeah, they were out of bounds. She was definitely not looking for her blockers to clear her path. Katrina was just moving what she needed to get through.
So this will be the last jam of the first period, but stick around as the Boston Massacre take on and finish up the game for the Wheels of Justice. Wheels of Justice picking up another 4 points to put on the scoreboard as we go into halftime, bringing the Wheels.
Grapes and
because you know grapes and announcing, they go really well together.
I know. Don't they just
Best
hand in hand
ever. As you can hear Randy Pan probably in the background, he's welcoming the crowd back to the second half for the Wheels of Justice take on the Boston Massacre. So thank you so much for going to Rose City Rollers and joining us here as we sit in Portland and you sit wherever it is that you are.
Well, and thanks to Blaze Streaming Media for bringing you this experience. I'm pretty sure the Little Bird told me that Blaze is also bringing the Bay Area tournament to the web this weekend as well. So they're busy. They're getting busy there in Derbyland.
They also have a plethora of things going on, as they are also doing the Big Five.
What? What is this thing you speak of?
The Big Five, Dragon Lady. You're hosting part of that?
Oh, yeah. Oops.
Oh, yeah. The Bridgetown Brawl 2011, September 23rd through the 25th. Get your tickets. Head to Portland. Come hang out.
Yeah, there's all sorts of 3-day deals, and it's just going to be amazing. It's going to be the best thing that happened to you all year long. I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
Do it. I believe it. So here we go again with no skaters at the pivot line. They're all way backed up to the jammer line there, waiting for that first whistle, and I bet they're not going to move very far forward as they're going to try to really shut down the jammer there for the Boston Massacre on behalf of Rose City, as Boston's going to look to take on the Rose City jammer.
Well, and cleared away, backed up from the jam line. As you know, you can, as a jammer, be anywhere behind the jam line as long as you're not, you could be moving. Anyone could be moving as long as they're not picking up momentum, but it looked like she gave herself a little space.
Shark Week Bumpus working the back of the pack.
Oh, Claire being sent out for a major back block. It seemed like all that strategy set up, and then the entire pack moved at the whistle. It was like, take you out.
Shark Week forced to allow the jammer for Rose City to get through as she picks up lead jammer status. That's scratcher in the eye. And again, power jam here for the Rose City Rollers as cleared away, sitting in the penalty box. And there goes scratch in the eye, picking up a grand slam. 5 in the sky for the Wheels of Justice.
Now we got a slow pack going on there from both teams. And unlike last period where you saw a lot of movement in the slow pack, everyone just looks like they're kind of moseying along here. I don't know if they're conserving energy. Oh, there we go. There's some hits. Awesome. Okay, never mind.
That's right. Lady Shatterley with a hard hit there on scratch in the eye, knocking her to the center of the track. Rose City's blockers recycling to the back. Looks like the pivot there for the Boston Derby Dames. Going to try to run the front as the last line of defense. That's Anita Banger. Not enough to shut down Scratcher in the eye. She's forced to let her go. She pulls through, picks up another grand slam for the Rose City Rollers.
Inside pack ref threw their hand up in the air there by Paula Lola, and she heeded the warning.
And she's on loan to you from the Lava City League, is she not?
Yep. She is great.
She is great, and you know, her son, Correxer, is also going to turn out to be a fantastic referee. It's kind of frustrating because he's only been skating for like a year. It's kind of baffling to me. I'm like, really? That's just not fair. All right, so Rose City sort of.
Boston starting off in a tough position here with 2 blockers in the box. And it looks like they have 3 blockers on the track. Trying to pull off the right person. Oh, no.
That's right. So LCD stuck in the center of the track as she gets called off by her coach.
Senor Master Solo. Macho Solo, sorry. There is a lot of confusion with the Boston lineups here.
Boston Massacre sugar hits through on her non-scoring pass. Just jumps right in there, gets right through. However, Rose City Rollers jammer Sulfuric Acid sees her, calls off the jam.
Well, we've got a very full penalty box from both teams here, and that's the Rebel Jeweler penalty box. They make some amazing decadent jewelry that I just wish I could afford, but you should check it out and buy me something.
I agree. I think that's a really good idea. Is it my imagination, or does Rock Lobster appear to be losing clothing as the bout goes on?
Dude, I don't blame him. I want to take clothing off, too.
I encourage that.
I mean, Robin needs to stay where he's at, though. I don't know if you remember Hometown Throwdown last year and the Gold LeMay number. I still have nightmares. Yes, we have an official timeout.
Looks like we're going to start out with LCD here blocking for the Boston Massacre. She's going to help out Claire DeWay. Again, high rotation for Claire DeWay in about every third jam, if not more frequently. So the amount of endurance, she's going to need that for Team USA.
Yeah, seriously. Well, Boston's got 2 blockers in the box and 1 standing. And, you know, if you know about this bout, you might have heard about it through the PDX Pipeline. They have your online source for a lot of Portland's music, arts, and events happenings. I mean, if you decide to do something other than roller derby, I don't know why you would do that, but if you do, you can go there, find out what else is going on.
Yeah, I just realized that my entire life revolves around work and roller derby, where I'm working, oddly.
What, you say that like that's a problem. I don't understand, Spider.
It's not really a problem. I just realized that there are no weekends that I ever get because they're all dedicated to roller derby in some way or another.
And that's why we love you. Looks like Scratcher in the Eye is going to be up jamming against Claire DeWay again. Oh, and it's Scratcher's birthday today.
Well, happy birthday, Scratcher in the Eye. She can't hear me, but you all can. You should all take a drink of PBR and wish her a happy birthday.
Looks like a lot of clarification going on between Boston and their players. I don't know if it's defining some penalties there. Not sure.
So
Rob's talking to him about something else. He's always complaining about something. Really, Wrench Warden, why is it so hot in here? If you were a better head ref, I'd be at least 20 degrees cooler if you could get it together.
So now Wench Warden is also responsible for the heat and humidity in the building. He is a force to be reckoned with.
I'm just, supposing here what Robin would be saying.
All right, so Claire DeWay going to get some help there by Shark Week.
Oh.
She takes a huge hit by Mercy to the center of the track, creating some room there for Scratcher in the Eye.
Weird. Claire going low and getting her face smushed between the butt of Mercy there and JK. Someone got a minor. I don't know who that was directed to.
There's 5 points for Scratcher in the Eye, bringing Wheels of Justice to 147 to the Boston Massacre's 41.
We definitely have a diet pack right now with only 2. Oh, no, just kidding. Losing Shark Week for her 4th minor.
Right, so there's Lady Shatterly, the sole blocker on the track there for the Boston Derby Dames.
Very easy. Scratcher just passing one and picking up her ghost points and calling it off.
That's right, 4 points for Scratcher in the Eye.
Not
I'm
sure.
betting that's Edie Disorder right down there with the cowbell, because she's all about 100% more cowbell.
Well, if Miss Nomer were here, we'd have 100% more dancing. So I don't know,
Like I spread the word wherever I go. 100% more dancing.
Yep.
I would dance on here on this mezzanine
Oh,
lest
no.
it fall down.
Yes, we would all die. We have wait for grape-bearing Cabana Boys, but not dancing. Sulfuric acid through the pack and getting Lee Jammer for Wheels of Justice. The box is slowly starting to empty out for both teams here.
Lil Payne getting stuck there behind Mick Swagger.
Oh,
Nice hit there by 011 LCD.
taking out Mick there and releasing her jammer. Unfortunately, Lil Payne still just absorbing these ginormous hits.
Yeah, Lil Payne not having any success trying to get through there and get around number 53, Mick Swagger, as Sulfuric Acid picks up another 5 points on the scoreboard for the Wheels of Justice.
Yeah, Acid taking a hip assist off one of her teammates. And now we're losing Lil Payne to her 4th minor. Not a good place for Boston to be in at the moment.
I believe that was a low block penalty called on her, and she'll take a trip to the penalty box as she skates around Dizzy Dudley, the outside pack ref on loan from the Dockyard Derby Dames.
Well, and at least all the blockers are on the track now, so, you know, it's the best case scenario for a power jam situation for Boston here.
Yeah, they're running a 3-wall trying to get in there. Mick Swagger, it looks like breaking that up. Looks like they're going to try to run it looked like they were going to try to goat Anna Rexer at the back. She takes a little bit of hit by number 81, Havana Good Time.
And that is going to draw out Acid, getting that out of play and warning and getting her 5 points there. It looks like Mo being sent to the penalty box there a lap or two ago, so Boston having the blocking advantage 4-3.
LCD, Sharkweed, Bumpus all work the front of the pack. Rose City getting in there and knocking them around a bit, breaking up that 3-wall at the front. Looks like somebody picked up a back blocking penalty. Someone else picked up an
Acid picking up 2 points, no pass, no penalty call there on LCD, and that jam is going to bring Wheels of Justice to 174 to Boston Massacre's 41. Hey, you know, if you are looking for something tasty, Fire on the Mountain has buffalo wings to die for. In Portland, they're on Burnside and Interstate, 2 different locations there.
Shank, Mames, Anna Rexer, and LCD working the front wall there. Wall of 4 in white at the front of the pack. Looks like they're going to try to race pack a little bit. They're going to try to prevent the jammer from getting out in front. Nice hit by the blocker there for, that's LCD for the Boston Derby Dames.
Yeah, nice hammer and nail there, but unfortunately it caused Wheels to trap her in a strategy sort of situation, and Eagle is out. The Eagle is out of the pack.
And there goes Lil Payne. She is lead jammer. She picks up lead jammer status, immediately calls off the jam as soon as she gets around on her non-scoring pass, trying to stop some of the bleeding here as being caused by the Rose City Rollers.
And apparently it's also Scald Eagle's birthday today.
Wow.
There was a lot of Wheels of Justice parents getting busy 9 months ago.
Okay, so it looked like we were going to have wall of Wheels of Justice there at the pivot line. They see the Boston Derby Dames lining up there back at the jammer line. There's the first whistle releasing the pack. However, you know,
we need a second whistle to release the jammers. And
yeah, they got far enough ahead, Rose City Rollers, to create a no pack.
all you need is 11 feet. And Sugar Hits is your lead jammer for Boston. Remember, Boston's wearing the white uniforms with the blue accents, and Wheels is in purple.
A much more swift pack here. Lots of scrambling there to try to get out in front of Sugar Hits. Sugar Hits hitting the back of the pack, picking up 2 points to the 0 points for the Wheels of Justice.
Nice calling it off in time there before Wheels can pick up any points. Good point protection.
That's right. Boston Massacre look like they're trying to chip away there at the sort of massive lead the Wheels of Justice have currently going on.
Hey, you know, point's a point. It goes on the board.
Because it only takes 1 point.
Right.
True story. I lived it.
I watched and breathed it. Scald Eagle back up on the jam line, up against Claire.
Anorexer, Bumpus, and Lady Shatterly working the front of the pack. Anita Banger actually at the back of the pack. She's going to get caught up there. She tries to shut down Scald Eagle. She doesn't have any success. Scald Eagle gets through, picks up lead jammer status on behalf of the Rose City Rollers.
And I got to say, I mean, Scald has such enormously long legs. It's not the space that she needs. She can actually wrap her legs around you, walk around you while out of bounds, keeping her skates in bounds. Her legs are that long. It's ridiculous to watch.
Comes in handy. Cleared away through on her non-scoring pass. It looks like Scald Eagle trying to go through in the inside line. Boston Massacre with a nice sort of block there. She pulls out in front of Anita Banger and Bumpus and calls off the jam as she scores some more points for the Wheels of Justice.
Boston doing a great job taking 3 of their blockers there and just choking on the inside line there, which was what gave away a lot of those points to the Wheels of Justice in period 1. So definitely wising up and finding their weak spots.
I'm guessing they probably had a little conversation about that at the halftime.
Probably.
Oh, and here we go, Wheels of Justice going around. Looks like both of them are trying to destroy the pack. And then they all hop back up, so they didn't actually destroy the pack.
Too soon. Shark Week pulling her 4th intentional minor there, going to the box. Clear out her plate there.
That's Shark Week right there on the track.
Crap.
Lil Payne running into a wall of purple as Scratcher in the Eye picks up lead jammer status on behalf of the Wheels of Justice. Lil Payne taking a spill there at turn 1. Also, Shark Week taking a hard spill straight to the floor on her chest. That looked painful.
It looks like Hurricane Katrina was deemed the cause of that giant spill and got sent out for a major there.
Lil Payne going to get around Mercy Party, and Cadillac there at the front.
Some huge hits, and I mean the pack is just getting so wiped out here.
Shark Week with a really nice job at the front of the pack, holding off Wheels of Justice. Scratcher in the Eye as the last line of defense.
Now, it just seems like the strategy right now, while it seems like there's absolutely no cohesion, it's just like the cohesion is let's just man up and annihilate everything, and just causing such a distracting, chaotic situation is so hard to pick a point of focus on this track right now.
The point of that jam was chaos.
Woo! Roller derby, something points. Let's hit someone.
Mames working the back of the pack, trying to connect there with sulfuric acid from the Wheels of Justice. She's unable to connect as sulfuric acid gets around the last line of defense, who I believe was Anita Banger there at the last. She picks up lead jammer status on behalf of the Wheels of Justice.
The hits are getting bigger here.
Cleared away, getting some assists there by LCD, trying to help her through the pack. Oh.
And Claire squeaks on by there from by Mobi-Wan Kenobi and clears her initial pass.
That's right, cleared away, making her around the jammer for the Wheels of Justice. However, sulfuric acid is like, the time clock is working in my favor, and I'm just going to race you.
Yeah, I've got my 5 points, and I'm getting in front.
That's right, and cleared away again. Boston Massacre really heavily depending on her, and looks like sulfuric acid going to score some points there and call off the jam.
Just one.
Right, cleared away, not able to engage the pack for her scoring pass.
Well, and Dr. Hauschka Skincare is officially the skincare of the WFTDA. Rosie Rollers is proud to be one of the ambassador leagues for their product. It's great stuff. It makes us all look very pretty and healthy and shiny and happy. I say the worst sponsor plugs ever.
Shiny, happy people in Portland.
Yes, due to Dr. Hauschka.
All right, so the second whistle looks like Scratcher in the Eye getting caught up behind Bumpus and Shark Week at the back of the pack as Lil Payne running up into a wall of purple.
These strong 2 walls from both teams on the respective jammers.
Looks like Rhea Derange and Cadillac working the front of that pack pretty strong. And there's Mick Swagger then recycling back up there.
The 3 wall that Boston's running in the back there that's holding Scratcher back, it just seems that cohesion's finally kind of starting to gel, and they're just not letting any openings appear by any minuscule way, and they're just shutting Scratcher down.
LCD, the pivot there for the Boston Derby Dames. Oh, hard spill. Cadillac connecting there with Lil Payne as Rhea DeRange taking a penalty and going to the penalty box.
And so is Cadillac. I saw a forearm. I don't know which skater. They were so close together. Someone got a fourth minor and someone got a major forearm. Or
Right.
something.
Right. Lil Payne actually lead jammer here for the Boston Derby Dames, and scratching the eye, having a hard time getting around LCD. Again, the pivot for the Boston Massacre. Looks like Lil Payne taking a hard spill there at the apex between turn 1 and turn 2.
Well, and her teammate brilliantly leaping over her to clear her.
As LCD taking a trip to the penalty box for the Boston Massacre. Boston Massacre currently sitting at 43, and Lil Payne on a scoring pass. She's going to try to get around the skaters there. Looks like Mick Swagger and number 50, Scald Eagle. As Lil Payne in the center of the track, scoring 4 points and calls off the jam. A little over 14 minutes left on the period clock. 2 timeouts left for the Massacre with 3 times out for the Wheels of Justice.
And the Wheels is using one of those timeouts right now. Hey, you know, New Belgium Brewing Company, they got that Fat Tire Ale. Follow your folly, and if you were here, you could buy one from the concession. So
I was just going to mention that. If you come tomorrow, chances are you too can be drinking a Fat Tire and watching Rat City Roller Girls take on the Boston Derby Dames.
but if you're listening to our voices, then you're going to have to go down to the corner store when this bout's over and pick up a 6-pack.
There you go. There's so many cameras in here, I don't even know what to do with myself. It does appear to me that Boston might be filming some kind of documentary. Is this true?
No, that's actually some local people.
Oh, fair enough.
Yep.
Just some local people.
Just, you know, whatever. It's cool. Rob Lobster out here on the track chatting with his skaters. It looks like Solo, Master Solo, Burrito, whatever.
Macho Solo.
Out.
You're
talking-
just going for words that end in O at that point.
Yes. Senior Coach Pants. And everyone is back in place, lined up for this next jam.
Obviously, no disrespect meant.
No, it's just, you know, this heat is getting to me, and yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that.
Wall of 3 at the back of the pack, completely shutting down the jammer here for the Boston Derby Dames. Mames trying to get herself in there to try to assist her jammer through there. It's got, oh, it almost worked out. Mick Swagger recycling to the front of the pack with Scald Eagle. Scald Eagle taking a fall there. Looks like, oh, Sugar Hits trying to get through. Oh, Sulfuric Acid jumps right into the action, picks up lead jammer status.
Now it looks like Asa was playing a little defensive jamming while she was in the pack there. Meanwhile, we've got a spill with Cadillac and one of Boston's skaters there towards the back of the pack.
I think that's Shank.
Oh, no. And
Oh.
forearm for Sugar Hits.
So power jam here for the Wheels of Justice.
But at least Boston 4-2 advantage with one skater, Cadillac being waved back on the track. So best case scenario in Boston's favor for our power jam here with so few blockers in purple out there.
So Boston using a favorite technique, trying to run the 4-wall at the front of the pack to try to shut down sulfuric acid. However, Rhea DeRange trying to get out knock Shank out of that mixture, and she is successful as she gets knocked out. Looks like they're going to try to eat the baby there. They were unsuccessful, the Wheels of Justice.
4 points for Acid, no pass, no penalty on one of those. With Shank going out of bounds there. She created a no-pack situation. That's what got Acid out of the pack, but
Shank actually knocking sulfuric acid out. She recycles way, way back to the back of the pack. She actually gets out in front of sulfuric acid to do some jamming. Mick Swagger there, knocking her to the center.
Acid is now being sent off for her 4th minor.
Yeah, cutting the track because LCD, working as a blocker there for the Boston Derby Dames, knocked her to the center of the track, and she re-entered in front of her.
Uh-oh, that's not allowed.
Oops.
If it just wasn't in the front of the pack, it would have been a minor. But when you're a jammer, if it's that last blocker on the other team, counts. Well, it was a minor.
It was a minor.
I'm having heat stroke over here. Thankfully, Boston is calling a timeout because I'm having heat stroke. That is very nice of them.
Once we get started, that looks like Anorexer and Shark Week going to assist their jammer out there. They're having a little conversation again with their coach at the jammer line. Woo. Portland working with 3 blockers on the track as they sit there, jammer and a blocker in the penalty box currently. Power jam in favor of Boston Massacre once we get rolling again. However, pack advantage here going to the Wheels of Justice, rolling with a 3-on-2.
Well, and if you're wondering why the Wheels of Justice have such great endurance, Get Fit Training is the official fitness trainers of the Rose City Rollers. They're home to the Hit to Fit 30-minute circuit workout. I know all the travel team does it like twice a week, and I think their results speak for themselves. So you want to be this awesome, check out Elaney and her Get Fit Training. It will definitely work your butt.
And apparently improve your endurance.
Yeah.
As shown here by the Wheels of Justice. Looks like the Wheels of Justice currently sitting at 200 points.
Yeah.
Woo, with a little under 12 minutes left on the period clock. We're about to get started once that first whistle blows. And again, interesting strategy as they've predominantly been starting at the jammer line as opposed to the pivot line. And I believe because it's a strategy that's been working so well for them this second half for the Wheels of Justice.
But Boston adjusting well, cleared away, giving herself the space. There's nothing saying you got to line up right up on that jam line as wearing that star.
So Wheels of Justice running the 3-wall at the front. Looked like they were going to try to race the pack there. That's Mercy, Mobi-Wan Kenobi,
and Hurricane Skatrina.
Holding that front wall, and they're racing.
Well, even looks like Claire DeWay is trying to help her teammates trap one of those purple blockers. But it doesn't matter. No pack is called, and they got to let her go.
That's right. So Claire DeWay picking up lead jammer status. And here comes some reinforcements for the Boston Derby Dames as I believe that's B52, Etta Mabes, rejoins the pack as a Wheels of Justice skater actually hits the penalty box. Wheels of Justice running a 2-wall there at the front with number 82 and number 444, Mobi-Wan Kenobi.
Huge hit from Mo there, and that got her sent out for a major something. But Acid is out of the pack and clears quickly for her initial pass.
I think that might be the first Grand Slam on behalf of the Boston Derby Dames. Now, I apologize if I'm incorrect in that statement.
Right, we're only running off of our unofficial stats. I know they're experimenting with Ringster this weekend. I don't know, for those of you at home, if you can see that information, if you can access it. I know there's a lot of technology thingamabobbers involving, and eventually you can access it from your iPhone and your M phone and your phone and
Lil Pain for Boston Massacre. Boston Massacre going to create a no pack, forcing that second whistle for the jammers to go immediately. Nice defensive jamming there on behalf of Rose City. However, Lil Pain gets through on the inside, picking up lead jammer status on behalf of the Boston Massacre.
And someone is being sent out. Nope, just kidding.
Scratcher in the eye, pulled through. Not your lead jammer as that goes to Lil Pain. Lil Pain trying to go on the outside line to get around number 93, J.K. Rowling, and she is successful, scoring 4 points to put on the board for the Boston Massacre.
Dipping really low, they're skating so low, she just zooms right around J.K. there, picking up her points, bringing up Boston Massacre to 56. Bridgetown Chiropractic, they are the official Brone Crackers of the Rose City Rollers, which I'm sure a lot of these skaters are going to need tomorrow to get them back into shape.
Boston Massacre going to look to destroy that pack, make it a no-pack situation as it was successful last time, running the 3-wall in the back there, trying to shut her down. However, Scald Eagle getting some assists there by number 82, Hurricane Skatrina at the back of the pack.
Well, and Katrina giving Scald a whip there.
Claire,
Caught on Claire's heels.
that's right. Claire DeWay is your lead jammer for the Boston Massacre. They're really holding on to that momentum. Several gems in a row, picking up that lead jammer status.
Well, and Rose City rushing to the front, not to give any quick and easy points, but Claire, she calls it off to make sure Scald doesn't get any either.
She says, no points for you.
It's like Boston is now just turning the same strategies against Wheels that has been holding them back all day, and it's proven pretty useful. Here is your medicine. I would like to serve it to you now. Signed, Boston.
They say, dear Wheels of Justice, take that.
Wheels of Justice pulling a knee at the pivot line.
Oh, working really well for Scratcher in the eye. She hops around on the outside line, immediately picking up lead jammer status. As Sugar Hits getting stuck at the back of the pack, she is going to get through on her non-scoring pass as she hops along on her skates there.
Well, and meanwhile, Scratcher already back in the pack, picking up some points there.
She's going to get around. Oh, LCD knocking her out of bounds.
She calls it off as she goes down. Now, I find it very interesting because there's a lot of talk, for those of you who nerd out on the rules, about, what do we do about the second whistle? And the sheer amount that teams are drawing that immediate second whistle, I think, is a pretty strong argument to have one whistle. If, that's what it's best for the team strategy. They're forcing the hands of the rules there. It's just, you're seeing it more and more and more. It's very interesting.
It's an interesting exploitation and taking advantage of that rule.
We've got Scald Eagle jamming once again for the Wheels of Justice,
and I believe that's Anita Banger. Is it? Is it true?
No, it's
No,
Shank.
it's Shank, number 27.
First time jamming tonight, and immediately picking up lead jammer for Boston, and immediately calling it off.
Right, as Scald Eagle pulls up right behind her. So Ivana Shankovich calling off the jam.
That eagle provides a very large shadow on the shadows of her fellow jammer out there. Wah, wah. I'm delirious from the heat. I wish that was the excuse for my bad jokes, but I'm just really a terrible comedian.
So the Boston Massacre doing a really nice job controlling the Wheels of Justice and keeping them from scoring massive amounts of points. So you watch them just roll away with it in the first half, the Wheels of Justice, just grand slam after grand slam, and Boston Massacre really pulling together and taking a lot of control back.
Well, and Banger motioning to her teammates to skate forward. The crowd is starting to heckle the teams. They don't want to see no skating.
Sugar Hits getting knocked out by number 82, Hurricanes Katrina at the back of the pack. She is going to pull through, pick up lead jammer status yet again for the Boston Massacre.
I think she had a little equipment malfunction. I feel like her toe stop fell off, or
I'm not sure where
she
she
picked
stuck
something
it.
up.
I'm not sure what she picked up, and she stuck it, I think, in her knee pad.
The Scratcher is out there blocking while wearing the purple star, since two of the Wheels blockers, they're standing up in the penalty box.
Not enough to hold her back. Shark Week on the outside line as a blocker for Rose City Rollers pulls in, creating an inside window for Scratcher in the eye to get through on her non-scoring pass. And, she is the lead jammer, and she can call it off after she scored some points. But again, letting the time whittle down, really not working in their favor. However, there's only a little under 5 minutes left in this bout, and we're sitting at 204 points for the Wheels of Justice, up against the 61 points for the Boston Massacre.
Unfortunately, I feel like Boston has definitely gotten Wheels' number now, and it's just 2 periods too late. But, when you come and do the Northwest Passage, you got to get your bearings, and it's like, take your lessons, bring them the second night. At least Boston doesn't have to travel.
This
The
is
Northwest
true.
Passage is coming to them.
How thoughtful of us.
I do what I
thoughtful of you,
can.
Rose City. Thank you, Dragon Lady. Oh, Scald Eagle picking up the lead jammer spot for the Wheels of Justice. This is the first time in multiple jams that the Wheels of Justice has been able to claim that prize.
Right, Boston doing a great job of just only letting them score 4 points in like the last 10 minutes.
I know. Amazing the cohesion and the amount of teamwork that Boston Massacre pulled together in sort of the end of this second half. I'm really, really impressed. I'm so excited to see Rat City skate up against them. Scald Eagle picking up a grand slam. That's 5 points for the Wheels of Justice, bringing them to 209. But again, only 9 points scored in the last 10 or 15 minutes for the Wheels of Justice.
Well, and it seems like the penalty trouble at least is affecting both teams equally, so you can't really blame one or the other.
There, Scald Eagle's going to pick up another 5 points as a minor backblocking penalty gets called on Ivana Shankovic, I believe, because she got caught up behind a wall of 2.
Well, and this is Rec Deckard back on the first. She took a little hiatus from the Wheels of Justice. The first time she's back on the roster and rejoining the team back in May. I love to see her back in the lineups. One of our great skater to see out there. Scald Eagle taking up another slam, grand slam. That's 15 points so far for this jam.
Boston just having a tough time getting their jammer through. That's Ivana Shankovic as the jammer for the Boston Derby Dames. LCD Anna cleared away, and number 77 Bumpus working the back of the pack.
Scald trying to get a hit there on Ivana almost, but having to be a little more careful not to cut the track there.
Ivana Shankovic taking a hard hit by Rhea DeRange, number 357 for the Wheels of Justice.
And that brought their bench coach out. He's chatting up with Wenchwarden, looking like he's asking about what about our out-of-play calls here? Where's our warnings? 20 feet. Front or back of the pack, it does not matter.
So it does look like both skaters starting out with minor penalties on the bank, and the jammer there for the Boston Massacre, Lady Shatterly, actually starting off the jam with 3 minor penalties already in the row.
Well, and those of you who don't realize, the jam refs actually hold out fingers before the whistle is blown to just remind them how many minors that they're sitting on.
And generally, a team won't skate someone with 3 minors. They'll actually have them pull that 4th minor in order to just get it out of the way. But they wanted Lady Shatterly to get an opportunity. However, Lady Shatterly taking a trip to the penalty box.
When we have a skater down from Boston, she's off the track. So the jam is continuing.
That's right, because as they pull themselves off the track, the play will continue.
They will only call off the jam if they obstruct the track. Scratcher picking up another 5 points here.
Period 1 sitting at 50 minutes, or 50 seconds, pardon me. And if Scratcher in the Eye just wants to run out the clock, this may be the last jam. It's another 5 points there for Scratcher in the Eye for the Wheels of Justice.
Yeah, and Wheels of Justice being in a power jam situation, both teams down a blocker. This is, you can see the wear and tear on everyone's faces. This was a very hard-fought bout on both sides in this heat.
That's right.
Everyone looks tired.
Everybody gets tired. There's Scratcher in the Eye with 5 more points on the scoreboard. And, you know, there are 6 seconds left in period 2 on the period clock. So unless she calls it off, this will be the last jam. That's another grand slam there for Scratcher in the Eye. She calls it off as soon as the period clock hits a 0. So that is the last jam of the night. Clearly the Wheels of Justice taking this home.
Well, and that was, like I said, I'm tired just watching them do this impressive show by both teams. I can't wait to see what the rest of the weekend is going to bring us. That skater that went down in the last jam, it might have been Shark Week, I'm not sure, but she's back on her skates standing to give a high five to all the competitors out there. So she's definitely looking good. And
a hard-fought battle by the Boston Massacre, Wheels of Justice, bringing it home on their home turf. It looks like 239-61. But again, an unofficial final score.
And if you are watching this stream and you live in Portland, come down to the B-Side Tavern for the after party. Say hi to both of these teams. Give them a congratulations and give them a high five of your own. That's over on 6th and Burnside on the east side. Tomorrow night, 6 p.m., it's going to start off with Axis of Annihilation versus the Reign of Terror. And Boston out again taking on the Rat City All-Stars from Seattle, Washington. Get your ticket If you're too far away, just tune in again. We'll be here for you.
I'll be here on this very microphone all weekend long. Dragon Lady has cordoned me off in this corner, and she says, you're not going anywhere.
I have relegated you to the back corner, but nobody puts baby in a corner.
That's right. Nobody puts Spider in the corner.
Well, thank you for joining me tonight, Spider. This is
Absolutely my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me come down to call amazing bouts of Derby this weekend.
Dragon Lady. We're signing off, and we will talk to you tomorrow night.
Absolutely.